So you have right here Stephen, right, being stoned to death, and with his dying breath, he's asking Yahweh Shem Yahshai, these people who are stoning me, don't lay it to their charge, right? And where did he get this from? He got it from that example, right? He got it from that example he got from Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh Shai was on the verge of death, and what did he do? He said, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing, right? And that's the example we all got to push, right? Trying to lay in our life for other people, right? That's a part of it, and it doesn't have to be literal, right? You can lay down your life without literally laying down your life for somebody else, right? Like, for an example, if you if somebody is annoying you, right, and you're trying to endure it, and you're praying for this person, and you're enduring their annoyance, but you're praying for them, right? You're constantly praying that the Father brings them back to righteousness, right? You're laying down your life for this person, right? You're putting aside how you feel for somebody else, right? That's how you lay down your life, when you put aside how you feel for somebody else, and righteousness, right? Because you got people who actually are going through something, right? Somebody's coming against them, and what do? They want to throw curses on a person, right? Lord, man, like, Lord, kill these people, right? You had a story with James and John, right? James and John was with Yahweh Shai. The people didn't take heed to what Yahweh Shai was saying, and they thought that it was okay that the people who didn't want to take heed be destroyed. They're telling some, Lord, are you going to command fire to rain down and destroy these people now, since they didn't want to listen, right? But Yahweh Shai just chalked it up, because when you read the story about it's a story about trees and being plucked up, right? And and it's a guy planting, and then the guy's like, man, these things ain't growing. You want to just tear them all up? And then the other guy is like, nah, we're gonna just give them some time, because if we tear them all up, we don't know which one's coming out and which one is just meant to not grow at all. So we should just give them time, just let them grow, and we're gonna see what happens, right? Which is translated into what? We don't know who's who, right? So that's why we're not in the business of condemnation, because we don't know who's who. You had Saul of Tarsus, right? Saul of Tarsus, he was doing a whole lot of things as far as coming against the gospel, coming against Yahweh Shai and the believers of Yahweh Shai, right? And then you had a guy, Barnabas, I believe his name is Barnabas, or I believe it was Barnabas, right? I could be wrong, but I believe it is Barnabas. I'm 90% sure, 50% sure. So you had this guy who was in a town, and Saul was coming to town looking for Peter. Well, Saul was on the road to go get Peter. That was when Yahweh Shai knocked him off of the horse and then blinded him. Yahweh Shai said, go to this town over here and wait for further instructions, right? So that was when Yahweh Shai came to one of his disciples. I believe it was Barnabas. I could be wrong, but I believe his name is Barnabas. That's where Yahweh Shai came to him and told him, Yahweh Shai came to him and said, yo, it's a guy over here, Saul of Tarsus. I want you to go over here and heal him or whatever. Heal him or whatever. So then he's like, whoa, Saul of Tarsus? You sure this is the guy? Because the only Saul of Tarsus that I know is the one that's been persecuting the church. This is what the disciple was saying to Yahweh Shai. And Yahweh Shai said, listen, just go do what I tell you to do. This guy is one of my anointed ones, right? But when you look at the beginning of the story, like I seldomly do this, right? You compare the story of Judas and the position he was in versus the story and the position of Saul, right? Saul started out the story coming against Yahweh Shai, persecuting the church. Turns out he was one of he was destined to be one of the greatest to ever walk during the era of the gospel, right? The beginning stages of it, right? That's what it turns out. But when you look at the beginning of how his story started, you probably would have never guessed that was going to happen. And when you look at the beginning of Judas, his story, right? He was a disciple. He walked with Yahweh Shai. He got firsthand experience and training from Yahweh Shai himself. So when you compare a person who's against the Lord and persecute anybody following the Lord versus a person who's actually walking with the Lord, right? When you compare that, when you just look at the beginning of their first stories, it looks like for sure Judas is going to make it, and it looks like for sure Saul of Tarsus is going to get put to death, right? But it's actually reversed, right? Saul of Tarsus did honor. He turned it around and started doing honorable things, and then you had Judas, who turned it around and then did what he did, right? And did what he did. So that just goes to show you, like you can't just say, okay, this person is in this form right now, so he's over with. No, but you got to give things a chance. You got to endure. You got to pray for people, right? You got to give people chances, because you never know when somebody's going to wake up, right? You never know who's going to wake up and who's going to go back to sleep. There's plenty of people who believed in the Lord and then went back into just mischief. They lost patience. That's why Scripture said, woe unto them who have lost patience, right? And why is that? Because some people are going to lose patience and stop following the Lord. This is Luke 23 and 34. Then said Yahweh Shai, Father, forgive them, see, for they know not what they do. So this is the account where Yahweh Shai is saying it. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Okay? And anybody who's not in the spirit of Yahweh Shai is ignorant. They don't know what they're doing, right? They have no idea. Because that's just how it works, right? Anybody who's not in the spirit of Yahweh Shai, they clearly doesn't have a full grasp of what's going on. And the Lord made it that way because the Lord, he stopped the ears of some people and he opened up the ears of other people. That's just how he's going to do it, right? But if it's just because it's a person who doesn't know what who is not under the vibration of Yahweh Shai, that's not a green light to do to them whatever you want, right? And in all actuality, that's a good thing in a sense. That's a good thing because it's an opportunity for you to, if somebody does something wrong to you, somebody's not in the right spirit, and like I said, they're doing something wrong to you, that's good for you. That's a chance for you to show love, even though they're giving you evil, which is one of the highest things. That's like one of the most honorable things that you can do. When you do good unto somebody who's doing bad unto you, that's literally like one of the most top honorable things that you can do, right? King Saul even told that to David, right? He said, you rewarded me evil, I mean good, when I rewarded you evil. He said, now I know you're going to be king, right? Just off of that act alone, King Saul knew what time it was, right? So then when you lay down your life, when you reward people good, when they give you evil, that's one of the top things you can ever do for the Lord, right? He loves that above like pretty much almost everything. That's like one of the top forms of love, right? This is Acts chapter 2 and verse 36. Therefore, let all the house of Israel assuredly that Yahweh have made that same Yahweh Shai whom ye have crucified, both Lord and Hamashiach. Now when they heard this, they were pricked in their heart and said unto Peter And to the rest of the disciples, and to the rest of the apostle, men and brethren, what shall we do?